There's a maniac who seeks to end us all. I'm putting together the greatest team ever.
Are you packed?
Yes. So Tessa, after years and movies together, how would you describe working with Chris now?
Oh, that's so interesting. I mean, there's so many things that have remained the same, which is that Chris is a really, generous as a scene partner. He's really fun to be around. He's really like a lovely spirit. I would say that this film, I guess, is a little different in the sense that I think we all have matured. I think even Taika's filmmaking has matured in the sense that I feel like it's very Taika, which is to like, if anything sort of gets too emotional or serious, he kind of wants to undercut it. I think that's a part of his nature. And on this film, I think he was a little less afraid to really go there, to go into some of the more sincere, heartfelt moments. And so I think it brings an emotional depth to what everyone is doing, and also allowed us to really go into some of those spaces of like, what does it feel like to have a midlife crisis? The idea of like a superhero inside of a midlife crisis is kind of a funny thing. So I think getting to see also Chris, Chris he has such dexterity as an actor, so gifted at comedy, but he's also so gifted at drama. And so to get to see him kind of do both those things in this movie, I think was exciting and a little different than Thor Ragnarok for sure.
Now, you worked together and you also worked out together, and with Natalie as well.
Yeah.
How competitive did it get in the gym?
I didn't grow up playing sports. I never thought of myself as a hugely like at least physically competitive person necessarily, but it got pretty competitive. And there was not just in the working out. I mean, obviously Chris is going to be able to lift some weights that I'm not gonna lift, but pound for pound in terms of like what I'm lifting, I was lifting a lot of weight on this movie in preparation for this movie. But the thing that we got most competitive about is there was an ice bath that we would do that is supposed to help with muscle recovery, and that thing was so cold, and we got pretty competitive over who could be in there the most minutes. And I learned recently, actually, with an interviewer telling me that Chris said that I destroyed them. He never admitted that to me in person, so that's very telling.
Oh. Wonderful woman, that is, for women. Yay!
Valkyrie?
This is the best day of my life!
Now, King Valkyrie shouted, this is the best day of my life. Now, what is the best day of Tessa Thompson's life?
Oh, whoa. There's a lot of really great moments, but I have younger siblings, and so I was like old enough to remember them when they came into the world, and that was pretty extraordinary to like my little brother and my little sister when they were first born, holding them and like meeting them. Those are really good moments in my life.
Am I sensing feelings?
Well, you're right.
If you were to be a king for a day, two things. What would you do first, and what would you proclaim first?
If I were to be king for a day, I think currently in this country, I would make some real changes in terms of some of the decisions that have been made recently. Particularly as a female queen, I would advocate that all women have access to safe reproductive care. So I think that'd be first order of king. And then what did you say? What was the other question?
The other one is, what would you proclaim? So what would you do first, and what would you proclaim?
What would I proclaim? Yeah, I mean, I think I would proclaim something which is something that I think, again, this country struggles with a lot, which is the promise of this country, but to treat people fair and equally, that we all have the same rights. That is something that I would proclaim and figure out how we can actually make that true.
I hear you.
So this is my vow. All gods will die.
Now, I heard in an interview that you said Christian Bale, as opposed to what we see on screen, which is hardcore, he's actually gentle. How was it like in your fight scene?
It was so sweet because he's so fierce in the fight scene, and then every time they'd call cut, he goes, "Are you all right? Are you all right? Are you okay?" Which was so incredible. And the truth is that doesn't always happen. Sometimes when you're playing a scene, if it's an emotional scene, sometimes it's useful for the actor just to stay in it. And And with him, he has this incredible uncanny ability to both go in and out and to always make sure that his scene partner is good and feels taken care of. And that was like such a joy to watch, because he's truly terrifying, once they call action, but as soon as they call cut, he's just like lovable and making sure that you're good and seeing if you need, a bottle of water or a break. And it's just really extraordinary to work with.
Thank you so much for your time, Tessa.
Thank you. Thanks for yours.
He's just my first bad guy.
You never forget your first.
Thor Love and Thunder.